Bitcoin. What are the whales up to? Big announcements out of Russia and the Middle East, and Samsung confirms some very exciting news about their upcoming S10. And let's just get straight into it, guys. Bitcoin whales are accumulating Bitcoin like crazy, or at least they have been over the last 2 months, while the prices have been low. The 100 largest Bitcoin addresses, that are addresses holding between 10,000 and 100,000 Bitcoin, excluding exchanges, have accumulated over 150,000 Bitcoin in the past 2 months. It's really quite amazing to see what the big money players are doing. It's such a great time to get into Bitcoin right now. When you look at the market trends, when you look at the current price, and look, we might go lower. There's no knowing what Bitcoin is going to do tomorrow. But overall, the markets are very tempting right now. And look at what the big money's doing. That always is a good indicator. Follow the money. The big guys right now are buying crazy amounts of Bitcoin. Steve Wozniak has been commenting a lot recently on Bitcoin. He's quoted as saying this about the Bitcoin bear market. He said, "I'm not sure I can buy that we've seen massive value destruction during the bear. I think we've seen massive value creation." And I agree with him. Look at what has been built in the past year for the crypto industry. Look at what is being built right now in the crypto industry. It's absolutely crazy. We are building like crazy in crypto land. Sure, we've seen some companies going broke. Those companies deserved to go broke. They were terrible exchanges, or they were token projects that were terribly financially irresponsible. This is a free market. The best ideas win, the weak ideas lose. Many companies have actually thrived during the bear market, taking this downtime to build. Steve Wozniak also reiterated that he sold his Bitcoin as he did not want to continue being obsessed with the price of it. He said, he's here for the tech. Good story, Steve. You know, maybe Steve is one of those Bitcoin whales that has been accumulating massive amounts of Bitcoin. He has been talking a lot about Bitcoin recently. Possible. Just here for the tech, huh, Steve? Good story. Now, other influential people have also been talking about Bitcoin recently, although in a less enthusiastic way, we could say. Old man Buffett, yes, the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, is at it again, repeating the good old mantra, blockchain is important, but Bitcoin has no unique value at all. Blockchain, not Bitcoin. Blockchain, not Bitcoin. He said it doesn't produce anything. You can stare at it all day and no little Bitcoins come out or anything like that. Warren. You just don't get it, man. Oh man, it's crazy. Why do they keep asking him? Now look, remember back when Warren Buffett called Bitcoin rat poison squared? Squeak, squeak, squeak. Hey, what's that noise? Squeak, squeak, squeak. Oh wait, what's going on under here? Oh, Bitcoin rat. Bitcoin rat, what are you doing here? You want to tell me something about Warren Buffett, Bitcoin rat? What's that you say? Warren Buffett should stop embarrassing himself by talking about things he doesn't know about? Bitcoin rat, you're so wise. Why are people even asking old man Buffett about Bitcoin? I don't know. He has entrenched interests in the banking industry. Why they're asking him about Bitcoin? I don't know. Let's go ask Ronald McDonald what he thinks about Bitcoin. Look, Warren Buffett is a famous investor, Bitcoin rat, so maybe they're asking him because of that. He's got a lot of great sayings, right? The good old saying we can attribute to Warren Buffett that a lot of us in the crypto industry like to refer back to because it is sage investing advice. That is the be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. That being said, just because you know about investing doesn't mean you know about Bitcoin. Wait, what's that, Bitcoin rat? You said that Bitcoin is for everyone, including rats, and that Bitcoin's not rat poison? I agree. Even though there are a lot of rats on Wall Street, I mean, real rats on Wall Street. New York's a dirty place. Jamie Dimon, we're not going to call him a rat. That's offensive to rats, Bitcoin rat. I would agree with you on that. Wait, what's that you said about Jamie Dimon? Jamie Dimon and Warren Buffett should do what with a banana and a jar of mustard? Oh, Bitcoin rat. That's it. You're timed out, buddy. That's ridiculous. Oh my gosh, this Bitcoin rat character. Now, speaking of influential people talking about Bitcoin, Warren Buffett and Steve Wozniak are not the only ones making waves in the crypto industry this week. Over in Russia, President Vladimir Putin has issued another deadline for the government to adopt regulations for the digital assets industry. The document from the president's office said it requires the adoption of federal legislation that aims to develop the digital economy, including regulation of civil law digital settlements. The legislation should also include a regulatory framework for digital financial assets, as well as attract greater financial resources based on digital technologies. The deadline to enforce new regulations is July 1st. That's super exciting. This basically means that it's going to happen in Russia, and it's going to happen really, really soon. Seeing this kind of political pressure coming down from the president's office to the Duma, that actually means a lot. That's really saying that get busy, guys, over at the parliament. We need the bill. I'll sign it. Get it on my desk. Let's go. Here's your deadline. Let's make it happen. Because as we can see right now, if you don't get on top of this, you're going to get left behind. And Russia's trying to get on top of it. Of course, the real question is, will this pave the way for the required legal framework to see the Russian central bank start buying Bitcoin? That is an interesting question. And maybe, I know we've posited the idea before on this channel based on some previous rumors of countries buying Bitcoin, particularly looking at Russia. And the purchase of Bitcoin as a strategic asset for a central bank, whether it be the Russian central bank or the Maltese central bank or any other one, is going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. Russia would be a perfect candidate to do this for so many reasons I've laid out in other videos. So is this the groundwork to make that happen? Maybe. Time will tell, I suppose. Over in the Middle East, Bahrain becomes the first Arab nation to comprehensively regulate Bitcoin. The complete rules of the country are not available online at this time. However, according to what we do know so far from the bank's website, it notes that the regulations require enhanced due diligence. Yeah, not surprisingly. Custodial wallets in the country have to ensure that wallets are never irretrievable, as well as ensure assets in their custody. Interestingly, the regulations demand that crypto operations ensure the education of their clients. Cool. That's cool. I don't know how they're going to do that, but great. Maybe you have to take some kind of course before you invest in Bitcoin. Like taking a driving test. You have to get your Bitcoin license to be able to invest in Bitcoin through the bank and yeah, whatever. Those crazy guys. But regardless of how they plan to implement that, that is exciting to see that we do see clear regulatory framework coming from the government in Bahrain. And of course, they're just down the coast from Dubai, which is also aiming to be a leader in the region. The Middle East is definitely an under-tapped region in terms of how much wealth and how many people are there that are not currently served by the majority of the world's cryptocurrency exchanges. And we do see some starting to take off there. We do, for example, see Sharia-compliant exchanges starting to launch. We do see governments over there starting to lay out the framework to allow their citizens to start investing in cryptocurrency. So that is very exciting. Of course, what's happening in Dubai and what's happening in Bahrain is a big contrast to Saudi Arabia, which is living by the blockchain, not Bitcoin song that all these bankers and big money players seem to like to repeat all of the time. This, of course, is evidenced by the Saudi Monetary Authority's announcement late last year that trading crypto is illegal in the kingdom. Iran, of course, as well, launching their gold-backed cryptocurrency. And so there's a lot going on. But in terms of really positive regulation, we see Bahrain and we see Dubai, United Arab Emirates, of course, leading the way. And they're very, very clever to be doing this at the time that they're doing this. We see a lot of competition going on globally, whether it be in Japan or Switzerland or Russia or anywhere else in terms of trying to push forward and welcome these new businesses in. It's happening all over the world at a regulatory level, and that is very impressive. And anyone who says that crypto's going away tomorrow, look at what's happening around the world in terms of the regulatory scene, in terms of the acceptance of governments, in terms of governments trying to entice businesses to come to their shore. It is really, really big. And for places like Bahrain or the United Arab Emirates to get into it now is just even better, because they are economies that are heavily linked to oil. And look, the reality is that oil's not always going to be here. Our economy will not always be based on oil. It's going to change. Change is a constant. And when that happens, these economies are going to be ready to transition into the future. Over at Samsung, Samsung has revealed various crypto and blockchain related projects will indeed be featured on their new smartphone. They including support for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for something called the COSME token, and the Engine token. Nice one for Engine, without a doubt. Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's expected. But Engine and COSME. Where did COSME come from? What is this? What is this? This is ridiculous. I can't believe that this token came out of nowhere and it's straight on the Samsung phone. Apparently, COSME is a blockchain-enabled mobile beauty decentralized app. Curious first choice, but I'm sure they have the reasons for doing it. And then, of course, Engine is a cryptocurrency wallet, and they have a big focus on gaming. This is going to be installed in the new Galaxy S10. That is massive news for, of course, Engine coin holders. But, of course, for the crypto industry overall, as we'll see Bitcoin and Ethereum natively in the Samsung S10. That's super exciting and super, super great news for adoption globally. Over at the NASDAQ, America's second largest stock exchange. Recently, they launched liquid indices of Bitcoin and Ethereum. These liquid indices aim to provide a real-time spot or reference rate for the price of one Bitcoin and one Ethereum, respectively, quoted in USD based on the most liquid ends of their markets. Now, that's important at a level because seeing the level of acceptance that Bitcoin, Ethereum, some other digital assets as well, are getting from the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, of course, New York Stock Exchange, owned by the Intercontinental Exchange, which is launching back. So, I mean, that's real adoption over there. NASDAQ has been dipping their toes in here for a while. They don't want to get left behind. They don't want the New York Stock Exchange to crush them even more. So, this is a nice offering in terms of, again, providing that extra tool for these bigger investors to get involved. And finally, according to research from a company called Data Light, as of February 24, 2019, nearly 3/4 of all Bitcoin nodes were located in just 10 countries. The United States leading the pack with over 2,600 nodes, followed by Germany and France with 2,016 in Germany and around 700 in France. Together, they account for more than 50% of all of Bitcoin's nodes. Now, not mentioned particularly in this report, but I think also worth underlining here is that that's great to see that distribution of nodes. But China, of course, still maintains dominance in terms of Bitcoin mining pools, particularly the pools. And I feel like there's a bit of a misunderstanding about China controls the Bitcoin mining industry. In some ways, yes, in some ways, no. And look, Bitcoin's a decentralized network. The reality is that the biggest pools are all Chinese owned. That's not to say that all the mining power is based in China. That is a misnomer without a doubt, because we could take Antpool as a great example. Anyone who buys a Bitmain ASIC, so this is the computer to mine Bitcoin, anywhere in the world, wherever that person is, they receive their miner, and they are encouraged to plug into Antpool. Now, you could be in the USA, you could be in Germany, you could be in Mexico, Bolivia, whatever. and plug in and be contributing hash power to Antpool, which is controlled by a Chinese company, Bitmain. That does not mean that they control your power. You can switch to any pool at any time you want. You can even try to mine by yourself if you feel like never getting any Bitcoin from your miner. But it doesn't mean that China controls Bitcoin. This is one of those things that gets thrown around all the time. China's in control of Bitcoin. It's really not the case. And it's worth understanding that. And these pools, they come and go. They get bigger, they get smaller. We've seen Antpool, for example, have 2 to 3 times bigger reach than it does right now. It has fallen significantly. The unknown miner percentage recently, in terms of the hash rate distribution table, has grown significantly to around 21% of the network right now. That could be anybody. That could be a state actor. That could be private companies. That could be, who knows? Warren Buffett. It's Warren Buffett, isn't it? He's fudding Bitcoin and mining it the whole time. I bet that sneaky old dude. But it is worth keeping in mind in terms of centralization. Not so much about the mining power in China, although yes, there are a huge amount of miners in China. Also, China is a huge percent of the world's population, so I'm not surprised to see that there is so much mining happening in China. But there's a big centralization of the actual hardware production happening in China. So I was really excited to see when we see all these different companies coming out offering new services. I have Samsung that's working on developing Bitcoin mining chips. Unfortunately, GMO internet shut down. They're not doing that anymore. So the hardware production is still almost exclusively, there are some exceptions, but the bulk majority of it is happening in China, as well as the chip production is happening again almost exclusively in China. So that's all part of Chinese manufacturing. You could argue that, well, that's too centralized in China at that point. But hey, where's the market at? We can sit here and grumble all day, China. Well, when's someone else going to start making cheap, reliable chips for Bitcoin mining? Come on, guys. It's the market. It is what it is. Unfortunately, right now, fortunately or unfortunately, I guess you could say, China is providing the cheapest hardware, the cheapest chips, and the market is choosing those. So there you go. Anyway, just some updates on Bitcoin for you. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. These, of course, as always, are just my 2 Satoshis on the matter. I'd like to know your opinion on any of these stories down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up on it. You can always subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. And if you want to know when I put out a new video, hit that bell down below. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.